Introducing the Poet Life Podcast. Go check it out today on your favorite platforms, including iTunes, Apple Music, and the website, thepoetlife.com.
Find a way, find a way.
Hey, it's Christoph Wrights of the Poet Life Podcast, and I am excited on this evening to have a new business partner of mine, Miss Alicia Wright. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. The reason why I said business partner is because let's start out this way. We have a new endeavor where we're diving deep into the education of the business behind poetry. And I found Miss Alicia White because I've been looking for someone that can teach and instruct all about patents and trademarks and copyright. And well, tell me your profession, Miss White, Miss Alicia.
I have been an IP paralegal for about 7 years now.
7 years. Okay. So how far does this go for you?
Forever. I own my own business, Elevated Business Concepts, and my profession actually formed my business, to be honest with you. I have found that a lot of small business owners are not really familiar in the realm of IP and how to protect their brands. So I used my skill and my knowledge in IP, and I formed it into helping others.
Okay. So to break it down, just bring it back a little bit. IP is intellectual property.
Correct.
What's that mean to the artist? What does that mean to the poet?
So IP can be broken down into 3 separate departments, as I like to call it. It's copyright, trademark, and patents. As for an artist, usually individuals would look at copyrights more towards their realm versus trademark and patents. So copyrights are pretty much the legal way to protect your writing, your music, your literary works, to be honest with you.
I see. Okay. So why is that important, do you think, for an artist to, I guess, copyright their poetry, their just intellectual property in general?
It's very important because, for one, because we are in such a climate where everyone puts everything online. If someone just decides to say, well, you know what, I like your work, and you don't legally protect it, you are pretty much putting yourself in a predicament where someone can potentially borrow it or steal your work. And if you don't protect it properly, then you pretty much gave them everything for free.
So it's like they're not even stealing it, like you're giving it away.
Kinda, yeah. And also, if you legally protect your brand, and I like to say brand because regardless of what you're working on, it's still your brand. If you don't legally protect it, you can't get any money off of it. You can't compensate yourself for your work if you don't legally protect it.
And if someone steals it or takes it, they can.
Correct.
Yeah, no, this is very important. This is very important, especially for the poet, the rapper, the singer, because, what you write, it comes from the heart, right? All of that. And for you to put it out there, thinking you're inspiring someone, and then you see it somewhere, or you hear it, or you see it in the video, someone's performing it, but also monetizing it, and you're like, okay, what's happening here?
Yep.
Do you see it often?
I do, actually. And my career, as well as in my business, I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my first step is. So can you help me? And, unfortunately, a lot of people cannot afford a legal attorney. And then let me just say this first. It is strongly recommended for you to consult an attorney. If you cannot, there are professionals that you can go talk to, but of course, it is always recommended for you to talk to an attorney if you can afford one.
It's time to create an unforgettable experience at your next event with the Poet Life by booking a keynote poet. Poets excite your audience with motivating messages, charismatic delivery, colorful rhythm, powerful prose, and heart-filled stories with a style of spoken word that's tailored specifically to your event. The Poet Life has keynote poets in your city of all ages and backgrounds.
Visit thepoetlife.com to learn more and book your poet today.
I see. So straight out the gate, as a poet, right? I write a poem and I want people to see it. I want people to hear it. Should I Google, right, what the process to copyright? Or like you said, should I reach out to an attorney to make sure I'm going the right way?
Well, it really all depends on your preference, to be honest with you. Copyright is a little bit less complex than a patent or trademark, for example. But copyright, it's actually really easy to protect your work. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the C symbol, but the C symbol is a C with a circle around it. That is the copyright symbol. And, once you write a poem or once you write a song or once you write a book, you definitely need to utilize that symbol, which actually indicates this is your work. It's automatically stating or symbolizing that this is your work. And if you want it to be legally registered, I guess you would call it, with the United States Copyright Office, then you definitely need to go to copyright.gov and go on that site, make your account, and then file your application for your copyright.
Got it.
So it's a little bit more simple. It's less complex, as even though people might think otherwise, it's actually less complex than you think.
I see. Does it cost money?
It does. Everything's not free now. Come on now.
Right.
So yes, it does cost money. The government fees are changing now. So as of right now, you can actually get a copyright application per se, less than $100. But however, that's not going to be the same all the time. Fees change, government fees always change. I know with Trademark, their fees went up this year. So, you want to go online, again, copyright.gov, and everything's on there actually. They have question and answer, I guess you say portal. They have the phone number you can call. But yes, everything is online. And that's another thing that I would like to add. There are some companies that will say, oh, well, look, we'll do it for you. We'll file it for you and everything like that. You need to be careful because sometimes some companies will take advantage of people who don't really know what they're doing and charge you way more than what should be charged for. That's just for copyright though, not trademark and patent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So trademark is more complicated, would you say?
It's not complicated. It's just more complex. You need to know a little bit more details and information about your business or your brand, as well as what you need or what you want to use it for. The prices are higher. The application process is more tedious, and it does definitely take longer to file and get a trademark registered than I could just copyright. Right.
I definitely need to talk to you about trademarking. And that's a good, when I said trademarking, make me think of, would you put an ing on copyright?
No, it's just trademark.
Well, no, the word copyright, is that a noun or a verb?
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, that's yes, you can. Yes.
So copywriting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Because there's also the other word copywriting, as in writing copy, and that's completely different.
That's different.
Okay. Got you. Now, where does patent come in?
So patents are a little bit different. Patents are pretty much if you invent something, or if you invent, and see, also patents are a little more complex too, because there are different type of patents. If you are inventing a new way of a new technology in a car, that is considered a patent. If you are inventing a new solar panel for a car or for a house, is considered a patent. So you first need to make sure that no one has already patented that in the idea. The reason why is, one, because all these fees are non-refundable. Once you pay for it, you do not get it back. The government will not refund you nothing. So you definitely want to make sure that before you file anything, that if, one, the invention or the trademark or the copyright is available, that no one actually already proceeded with registering it. And then, two, when it comes to patents, I strongly do not suggest anyone to file a patent without talking to an attorney first. The reason why is because the process takes over a year, almost 2 years to process a patent. And as well as there's a lot of intricacies within it that, to be honest with you, you would need to go to law school in order for for you to understand everything. Like, for example, for myself, patents, I have experience in patents, but my expertise is in copyright as well as in trademark. So for patents, I can definitely speak about it. I can definitely explain certain things to you, break down everything to you. But of course, because I'm not an attorney, as well as the fact that patents, again, takes almost 2 years, you need someone that's going to be able to go into that system and make sure they can defend you properly.
Wow. How long is the process for trademarks?
Trademark is about a year. Sometimes, depending on how you file the application, it can be more than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what if you mess up, or?
Well, it fluctuates. So let's just say you have a logo for your new business, and but you're not intending on using the logo just yet, because you want to wait until your business partner says whatever. You can still file your trademark application. But because of the fact that you're not using it, you have to file it underneath a certain application. And because of that, it's going to take longer for it to become registered, because you're not using it right now. So there's certain applications and certain guidelines and details you have to put into that application for it to be processed accordingly.
This is so interesting. Scenario, right? You have a logo. Like, say, for instance, you have this logo, right? It says Poet Life, and the Poet Life name. Is that 2 trademarks?
Poet Life can be considered one trademark, or it becomes, well, actually, it couldn't be considered 2, because of the fact that the word life might be considered too generic.
No, I mean the logo and then the business name. Would that be considered having to apply for 2?
Yes. So, and I'm sorry for misunderstanding.
No, you're
So
good.
yes, Poet Life, as well as then the design, will be considered 2 trademarks, which means you have to pay for 2 trademark applications. It's not like a buy one get one free kind of deal.
Right. BOGO.
Yeah. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
Okay. Wow. What made you get into this line of work?
Okay. So let's backtrack.
Yeah.
Before I became a paralegal, I used to work for a dealership. I was a car dealership. You know how you call someone on the phone, you say, "Hey, I gotta make an appointment to come into a dealership." This is before, internet really boomed with Carvana kind of thing.
Right.
I was that person. I would pick up the phone, I would make your appointment, and once you came in, I would give the process information to your salesperson. And I said, you know what, I want to do something different, but I don't really know what to do. I know I like law, but I don't know how to get into it.
Sure.
And then I said, you know what, I want to be a paralegal. I think I can do this. So I went to school, became paralegal, and my very first job, when I first achieved my certificate license, was IP.
What's a paralegal?
A paralegal is pretty much an assistant to an attorney. So pretty much we take care of the documents, the research, the any type of performance that an attorney does not need to do, we do that for them. So pretty much an attorney is the legal representation that someone needs when you have to go to court or to represent you. Everyone else that helps the attorney does the work. I'm not saying attorneys don't do the work. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But they need someone to help them. So the paralegal steps in, depending on what type of law you're in, and helps them. When it came to me, though, I wanted to learn as much as I could in IP, and of course, I'm still learning. Everyone is still learning. We're all not perfect.
Sure.
But I wanted to learn as much as possible in this field. And then when I got to the point where I said, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. And I started my own business to just help, because I saw a lot of people, especially in our minorities, we're not able to really afford the attorney fees. And because of the fact that we say, okay, I can't afford that. I'm not even going to think about it. I can't afford this.
Right.
We don't even worry about it. We don't think about it no more. We just say, okay, whatever. I'm not even going to worry about it no more. And that's not good. We need to know these type of situations and know how to handle our brand properly, like a business.
Yeah. No, that is very true. That is very true. But what drew you to IP though? Because I know there's a plethora of lanes you could have taken.
So when I'm sorry, I got caught up. So when I got into my very first job in IP, it was research analyst for intellectual property, and I just loved it. I thought it was a different type of law. I felt that a lot of people were not really, I'm not gonna say paying attention to, but it wasn't really like a popular type of law, like not like criminal justice or real estate, and I fell in love with it, to be honest with you. I thought it was very interesting on how you take one design and you can flip it to something different. And then if someone else does not properly protect it, they can pretty much take it from you.
Wow. Let me ask you that, because what you just said brought to my attention Nintendo 64. They, I guess, I don't want to say invented, but they came up with the remote control, cordless remotes.
Mm-hmm.
But then, was it Nintendo 64? No, PlayStation. I think it was PlayStation that kind of like perfected it or made it better and kind of took over. And now Nintendo 64 is not, I don't know if they're even in existence anymore. Is enhancing something that's already in existence not stealing?
It all depends on the situation. And that is actually considered fair use. And it really all depends on the individual or the company that first invented or designed or whatever type of IP they have. And then if you do not properly have it protected, then it can be open to, someone making it better or someone potentially stealing it. Now, in that situation, I'm not really sure on the differences between it. But yes, it is possible. It's called fair use. If someone's already, if someone invents something and then someone comes along and makes it better, it really all depends on how you filed your application first. Because if you do not file it properly, you're not protecting it based off of what you wanted to protect it for, which means any gray area, someone can take it and then say, okay, well, this little gray area here, you didn't protect it. So then that way I can use it and do something else with it. And if since you did not properly protect it, it's fair game.
Wow. Okay. So a new poet, a veteran poet, just a poet in general, it will behoove them to, at the very least, do some homework and study up on it, or just simply just connect with someone who has the knowledge to learn how they can protect their poetry.
I would say both. The reason why is because, I mean, right now in this day and age, you can get online and find pretty much anything you want. However, you need to make sure that what you're reading is accurate. A lot of things are on Google or, YouTube or whatever, but it's not, I'm going to say accredited. I'll put it that way, because, anyone can say anything, anyone can post anything. So,
Right.
but you need to make sure that what you're reading is correct. You need to make sure what you're reading is, first of all, updated, because when it comes to something like this, IP changes every day. There's IP law that changes almost every day. So you need to make sure that you know what you're doing, or at least you have an idea of what you're doing. Another thing you need to realize too is the United States is not the only people or only country that utilizes IP. There's foreign countries that utilize it too. So, you need to make sure that what you're doing here is going to protect yourself. And when you get to that point where you need to start filing internationally, which is possible, poets are international. You need to make sure that you are first taking care of home.
Okay. Now you took me there. So if I register in the United States, someone in another country can steal my work?
Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure that you protect yourself everywhere.
And the internet is everywhere.
And the internet is everywhere. Now, of course, if you properly protect yourself in the United States, that's good. That's good. I'm not saying you have to file yourself everywhere in everywhere foreign as well. But
Right.
you need to make sure that you protect yourself here, so that way you have a platform, a foundation, before you start to expand your brand.
Yeah. And at least it's documented that you did write it or whatever first.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. This is really good, because, and like you and I were talking before I clicked record, it's demystifying the complications or the difficulty of something that you're just not knowledgeable about.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And this is helping me out. That's why I'm asking these questions, because I'm learning myself. All right. So what was one of your hardest, I guess, cases? Did you have to defend someone before, or do you simply help artists protect themselves? What's that look like in your business as far as your services?
So when it comes to representing people, no, I'm not an attorney, so I cannot represent you. I cannot give you advice. I cannot, give you legal advice. However, I can help you. I can show you, the differences between the copyright, trademark, and patent. I can explain how you do it. I can show you what you need to do. I can break down any type of questions you might have. And, and when it comes to my business, I can do that as well. But I also have affiliations with attorneys who run their own firms. So if you come to me and say, well, look, I don't know what I'm doing, I think I messed up, which is possible, and that's okay. That happens all the time. I can actually refer you to one of my attorneys, and they can help you from there. You do have to pay their fees, but it will be worth it.
Got it. and you'll know the questions to ask.
Yes.
Right. Because that's the hard part too. If you go to an attorney and not know what to ask, it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
hoping they know what to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Got
That's
it.
right.
Got it. Okay, so you've been doing this for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How'd you get your name? Elevated Business Concepts. Where'd that come from?
So my mother used to always tell me that you need to make sure that you keep your life elevated.
Ooh.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to utilize that and just put in business concepts because I am working with business owners, and also concepts because not only do I take care of IP situations or concerns, I also help them with finances. So I have a vendor that takes care of like your financial situation with your business. Just to say that you run into an issue where you need help with your taxes, or you need help with consolidating your bills with your business, and you're just kind of lost. You really don't know what to do. You just need some help. So
Right.
I have a vendor that she's great. She's wonderful. She's also expertise in her field, and she takes care of that too.
That's so good because, just full transparency, man, that, this stuff is not easy. And really, most first generation entrepreneurs, we don't know what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're learning as we go. We're starting afraid, but we're starting. And like I said, we're learning as we go. And it's people like yourself that will be able to kind of walk us along and help us in these areas where we're just oblivious. Like, we know we have a great idea. All right, so we're going to start, you know, and but we don't know about these types of things. And so I'm grateful. And again, back to what I was saying earlier when we started about you being, my business partner. Well, Poet Life University is open for enrollment. And I am very excited about that. It is an online university. You can go to poetlifeuniversity.com. Right now, we have 2 live courses ready for open enrollment. You can register. One of the course is where Professor Alicia White is teaching Protect My Poetry. That's the name of the course. It's 8 weeks, once a week, between the hours of 8 and 10 or something like that, I believe, on Sundays, right?
Yes.
And your course starts October 17th. October 17th. It's a Sunday around 8 o'clock. So, you're settled in, your kids asleep and everything. Y'all had dinner and everything. Jump on the computer. We're doing it on Zoom. And she's going to explain in detail, answer your questions, work with some of the art that you all have, the applications on how to get things patented. Is it patented or patented?
Patent.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm telling you,
It's all right. They
I'm
know what
learning.
you need.
But copyright. Now, there's no way for copyright. It's not past tense for copyright, right?
No.
Got you. So how would you say it in past tense?
Well, it's kind of weird because people just say copyright.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird like that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
But
you.
you can say it like that. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. Right. It's almost, when you say it, it's almost like when people say conversated.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Poet Life University, for all of those of you listening and watching, if you want to learn more about what we're talking about, you want to register for this class. You want to enroll for this class. It's going to be extensive. Anything and everything that is in relation to this, you'll be able to really dive in and learn from Professor White here. I'm really excited about it, and we're going to keep it going. This is not just one time. This is an actual school that we're developing, and it's going to be ongoing. So we would love for you all to be the I guess inaugural students, of Poet Life University. And the second class right now that is up and flowing is slam poetry for beginners, and it's taught by Breeze the Poet, and his resume is just so long, it's crazy. From champion of this, and it's just, just go check it out. You'll see how extensive his resume is, as is Professor White here. So I think so many poets, should they take down their poetry right now, or should they like update it with the C, with the circle
You should
around?
always put your C down. Always. Once you write something and that's your work, your unique work, you should always put the C down.
Okay. That at the very least. Should you also put the date on there?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Got you. Have you heard of the
I'm sorry. And when you say date, the year.
Yes, the year.
Yes.
The year in that that circle around the C.
A circle with, yep. Mm-hmm.
Got you. Have you heard of the poor man's copyright?
I haven't.
So I've learned about copyright when I was younger, right? Because I started writing poetry when I was like in the first grade, and so many people would tell me, make sure you protect your poetry, and I'm like, what does that mean? And at young age, I didn't have any money, and I didn't really have like any guidance in regards to my poetry, but I remember that. And I was like, I didn't know how to do it, but someone told me about the poor man's copyright, and that is to print out your work, your poetry, place it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, seal it, and mail it to yourself. And what that does is make sure you don't open it. So if someone ever steals your work, that stamp, that date that the post office puts on there, that says that this work was, it documents the date that you wrote it, or at least mailed it to yourself. So if somebody steals it, that date is registered at the post office. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of gray areas with that, but you can do that if you want to.
Right.
But utilize the copyright on your work. And what I would recommend to do it is legally protected by,
Sure.
filing it. But you can do that. If you ever run into copyright infringement, there may be some ways to get around that. And infringement is a totally different subject. I will discuss some of it during the class.
Got it.
I have a whole class set up for that. But
awesome.
There's some gray areas with that. But yes, you could do that if you want to, if you feel that's what you want to do, but definitely utilize that copyright symbol.
For sure.
The reason why they again, copyright is less complex than the other two. The copyright symbol pretty much indicates that this is unique. There is no duplication of it, and this is your work. And once you utilize that symbol, you are symbolizing that this is your material. And once you file it, then the government has that material in their system indicating this is your work. And another thing that people should know is when it is, registered and everything like that, the life of your copyright is a life of you, the author. So as long as you are alive, the copyright is yours, is alive.
Oh,
And then when you pass away, it is alive for 70 plus years.
70.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So once you protect your work, that's one important thing. Because I know some people say, well, okay, I can just use a symbol and go about my business. But once you protect your work legally, you have that protection. And when you have that protection with your work, then you can start licensing your work, which is a totally different subject. I will discuss it too. But you can license your work then because you already legally protected it. Just because you mail it to yourself, you do not have that protection, and you cannot license your work. And those are the two things. And once you license it, that goes into money.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, because even if you did that, which I said, mail it to yourself, that does say that you were first, but if someone registers it first, then it's theirs.
With copyright, there's still some questions with that too.
Oh,
It's not as simple as, well, not simple, but it's not like trademark and patent. It's a little bit different.
okay.
But in a way, yes. So pretty much what happens is when you send it to yourself, yes, you have that stamp saying this is me. I did it on this date, around that time. But when it comes to the legal part of it, there's still some gray areas. People can still say or argue this or argue that. And if you are not, consulting an attorney who can represent you, and the USP, okay, let me break it down. The United States Patent Trademark Office, there is a possibility that you may not be able to protect your work that way.
I see.
There's still a lot of gray areas and
Sure.
a lot of laws in between that people might be able to get around it.
I see. And answer this for me. One poem, 10 poems. Is that 10 copyrights?
Yes. That's 10 copyrights. Each poem is your work. That's your material.
Okay. What if it's a poetry book?
Then the book is your material.
Gotcha. So that's all of the poems in that book. Okay.
So if you put it all in a book, then that is your book. That's your book, and you copyright that book. But if you have 10 separate poems on 10 separate pages, that's 10 copyrights.
Got it. Yeah, I know there's someone, because it's probably me. It's like, maybe if I just put them all together, staple them together.
And if you want to do it that way, it's fine. That's your book.
You're right. Okay. This is quite interesting, but it's so important. It is so important. It's not even funny because, especially in this business, your art are your products, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's a good way of saying it. Yes,
for sure.
Your articles, your poems, your songs, your sculptures, can be protected. Yes, your paintings, it doesn't. It's still considered material. You can protect that.
Sculpture, is that considered copyright, or is that
Yes.
considered patent?
No, that is a copyright.
That's copyright. Got
A
it.
patent is only for an invention. If you are making something that is new to society, for one, And then two, just because it's new does not mean, well, that's totally okay. Yes, a patent is an invention. If a sculpture or a drawing or a picture, article, songs, a new dance can be copied. Yes, you can put it in the copyright.
Wow, I'm learning so much
Yes.
right here. This is
People
good.
don't know that. Mm-hmm.
So all these little TikTok dances, oh man.
And all these new TikTok dances, and they're brand new, just hit out, whatever, you just decided to get on there. If you don't protect that before you put it out there,
And it goes viral.
all you have to do is just record it to yourself first and protect it.
See, this requires patience.
Yes,
And a
you need
lot
to
of
be
people
patient.
do not have patience. They're like, let's make this dance and let's
No.
put it out there.
You see, another thing is too, because a lot of people don't realize, if you protect it first and someone decides, oh my God, I love this, I wanna buy it from you, right? You can say, no, this is mine. I protect, this is my stuff, this is my material, right? This is my copyright. They have to pay you for it.
Man, I think I'm taking that class because I want to learn about licensing.
Licensing is awesome. People don't know about licensing, infringement and licensing. That is two things that, one, it changes all the time. I still learn something brand new about it every day. It's crazy. But the main details of it, those two things can either cost you a lot of money or you can make a lot of money from it.
Just information and knowledge, period, can either cost you a lot of money or make you a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why, I liken Poet Life University as, is that Marvel? Is X-Men Marvel?
Yes.
Or DC?
Oh no. X-Men
DC?
is that DC?
I
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry, guys, who
Sorry,
you
my
all
bad.
are comic.
I'm mad too, because
I know they are cursing us out right now.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to get better.
Sorry. But I brought that up to say I liken Poet Life University to be like, Dr. Xavier's school for mutants, and they're learning their powers and how to use them responsibly and to leverage them and all of that. That's how I see Poet Life University, and I want other poets to see it that way as well, because it was built and structured for the poet, for the artist, to really, just like the mutant, to learn their power. Poetry is powerful. It is more than the open mic. It's more than a chat book. It's more than the three or four ways that you know of that you can monetize your poetry, right? And we want to make sure that we teach that, because the thing is, if you say that you want to have a career in poetry, you have to do like you did for your current career, and go to school and learn it, and not just start. Starting is good, right? But to hone your craft and to show that you've invested into your career, it's so important to get guidance and mentorship and just knowledge, because like you said, it can make you a lot of money, or what's the other part of it?
Cost you a lot of money.
It can cost you a lot of money, right? So I am really excited for you to be a professor. Matter of fact, you are the first professor at Poet Life University. And I'm so glad I met you.
Same here.
Yes, most definitely. I look forward to the great reviews from the students in your course, in your class, and we're gonna help a lot of people, because really this stuff is like out of sight, out of mind,
Yeah.
until that day where you get that phone call. Hey, isn't this your poem in this magazine or on YouTube, or didn't you write that? And then now you're fighting. Now it's a fight.
Very true. Yeah. And you'll be surprised how many times that actually happens and people don't know about it.
And don't even know.
Don't you know about it?
It's like catfishing.
Kinda, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Literary catfishing.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Wow. That's heavy. Because I hear about it all the time, especially, at events like open mics and stuff. People call it giving reverence to the person who wrote it, but then they don't reference, and they don't reference who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically taking it on as if they wrote
their
it.
own. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Man, this is good. This is so good. What advice outside of what we talked about would you give a poet as relates to protecting their work?
I would say, just because you feel that you're not running an actual business, you shouldn't consider your poetry or your brand as a business. You can make money off of your books, off your singing, your drawings, anything. The same way someone else can make money at having an actual building, you can actually still make money that way. And because of how society is, where everything's online, you can access stuff online now, it's even easier to do it. So just because you feel or you think that, okay, well, I'm just doing poetry, or I'm just an artist, I just draw, or I just sing a little bit, or I'm a good rapper. If you train yourself and say, look, I can train myself to be an actual business owner, you can make money still too.
That's so good. I hope you all are listening. I hope you all are watching and paying attention, because what Alicia just said is so important. Take one word out of your statements about your art. Take the word just out. I'm just a poet. I just write poetry. It's just your work, your poetry, your art is so valuable. So much so that someone will steal it. That's how valuable your art is. And you don't even know how valuable it is.
That's true.
Valuable it is. That's how valuable your art is. Someone will risk it all to steal it and take it as if they wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree with you. That advice was so key, and that's what I'm trying to get across to so many, because poetry may not be the most popular art, right? Where poets are not making millions yet, right? But if you put a value on your art, and you can put a price on your art.
And that's another thing too, poets, they don't realize that most of the songs out here come from a poem. It certain verses that you might hear, you never know, they might have came from a poet. You can turn your poetry and you can become a songwriter for a celebrity or whoever. You know what I'm saying? The sky is the limit, to be honest with you.
The sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit.
If you just reword poet, it's a person that evokes emotion with their words. It's a person that's very good with words. And let's just run the list of the many ways that, or many industries that are looking for people good with words. Marketing. Like, all marketing is storytelling. Who's better in storytelling than a poet? A copywriter, one who writes copy. The pictures and videos are great, but the best posts are the ones with the best caption.
Mm-hmm.
And companies will pay a copywriter,
pay you big money
to write poetically in those captions.
Pay you big money for it.
Big money.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you're not just a poet. You don't just write poetry. You don't just write poetry. I posted on my Instagram the other day. It was in the morning, and I said, poets, do something today, and that is, I'm paraphrasing. Tell someone that you're a poet. There's so many closeted poets out there because they don't feel as though it's not as, if they're a singer, they would tell folks, yeah, I sing, but for whatever reason, it's quiet. It's a quiet, title.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to embrace and encourage poets to scream out loud what you are, what you do, what your passion is. Because I also stated that you never know what opportunities will come from that conversation.
That's true.
Never know. You don't know what project or event that person is planning.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
I forget I have shirts on like this, and I'll be at a restaurant or in an airport, on a plane, and oh, you're a poet. And I'm like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, so I can go on for days with this, but listen, go to poetlifeuniversity.com and enroll into Professor White's class, Protecting My Poetry. 8 weeks. This is value packed, weekly, 1 day a week, about an hour and a half or so of answering your questions, just walking you through the process. You all heard how extensive it can be, the nuances between patents and trademarks and copyrights. Take your time. It's 2 months. It's 2 months of learning, and it'll be well worth the enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alicia, thank you so much for spending this evening with me. Folks don't know what time it is. They don't know, but it is around 9 o'clock at night, and we have kids, so we got to go. It is. Thank you so much. for joining me. We're going to release this in about 2 days, and those watching, hopefully, will hear our hearts and enroll into that class. Listen, folks, it is Christoph Jenkins, Christoph Wrights, and it is Professor Alicia White. Everyone, have a good
And
night.
if I just want to say this real quick, I
Yep.
want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm taking my time with the curriculum. I want to make sure that the information that I'm going to give you is not complicated. It's very easy to understand. I'm going to break down everything for you. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask me. I'm very patient. I have 3 girls. I'm patient. And if you ask me something and I'm not sure, if I need to get some more clarification, I'm going to let you know. And the next time I'm in the class with you, I'll let you know what the answer is. So
Awesome.
I'm very patient. I'm very excited to help everyone.
Awesome. And she has 3 daughters, and
Yeah.
I have 3 daughters.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, just to take it a step further, our family business is called I Have 3 Daughters.
Love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We write children's books and we review children's books, and all of my daughters are 6 and under. So
Well, we have to talk.
we do, because my 6-year-old just released her first children's book.
Now see that?
Indeed.
See, if a 6-year-old can do it, everyone can do it.
Exactly. Wait, now hold on. So I know we published it, but did we copyright it?
Oh.
Does the publisher copyright it? Or
now I'm not sure about the publisher now. I think that's based off the contract that you talked to about that now.
Now you got me thinking. I didn't even.
Yeah.
Lord, let me protect my daughter's
Start asking
book.
that questions. Yeah. Royalties.
Oh wow, I got work to do.
Yeah, you got work to do.
Jeez, just like that. Out of sight, out of mind.
And see how easy that is? You see how easy you tend to forget just that little part right there? Because you have so many other steps you have to take, and you just forget by that one little part. So yeah, it's understandable. It happens.
Wouldn't you think the publisher would know?
I cannot guarantee that. I cannot guarantee it because it depends on the publisher.
Okay, so I need to ask.
Just ask.
Okay.
If they say no, then you already know what you need to do. If they say, yeah, we took care of that. Well, I need my documentation.
I need my documentation because the question is, did you copyright it, or is it mine?
Yeah, that's another question too.
Oh, this is so good. This is valuable for me. So perfect. I'm glad you jumped in there. So it's the Poet Life. Go to poetlifeuniversity.com, check it out, and enroll. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Find a way, find a way.